Right, guys, welcome back to the SPTC podcast. I am your host for today, Phillips. No Jay. He was in hospital actually. I'm sure you won't mind me telling you all about this, but a football-related injury, which is relevant to the podcast. I messaged him yesterday and said, "Are you about for the podcast tomorrow?" And heard from him this morning. He's been in hospital. Bless him. He's okay. It's just a small injury that he needed to get checked out. So just a quick solo podcast from me today. I'm going to be talking about a quick bit around the transfer plans and just explaining really what's going to be happening with them, with the new manager situation and things going on in the background. Obviously, the season's still waiting to be complete in the next few games. So I will speak a little bit about transfer plans and what to expect this summer. Then I'll go on to obviously what I'd imagine you're all here for, Xabi Alonso news and updates and anything else on the manager search. And then I'll talk about the cup final because that is the big game of this weekend, Chelsea in a final, which is obviously great. We somehow managed to get there with everything that's been going on lately at the club. Fantastic that we're there. But yeah, I'll speak about that in a minute. It is going to be around about a 20-minute show today, hopefully. So just a quick one, but I thought I'd show my face. I haven't been here for a few weeks. Life is busy, as everyone knows, and we all got our stuff on, haven't we? So Jay's been great in getting shows going. I organised Lloyd Canfield to come on last week, and that was a great show as well. So we have still been putting the content out, and we always will, whether it's me or Jay or both of us. Hopefully next week, both of us talking about a FA Cup final win. We can live in hope. Anyway, obviously, transfer plans is obviously I put out a few articles recently with some names. I had a really big long short list that you all would have seen on names that we've been given, and there's like plan A, plan B, and plan C. And at one point it looked like we might have to put up with plan C targets or plan B targets, and that might still be the case, but the bottom line is transfer targets are now going to depend on who the new manager is. And Chelsea are going to rely on the new manager to help approach players and have some influence on that. I'm sure that, I know that they're already getting to work with agents. They're speaking about a number of players. It's not like they're not doing anything. They are getting things done in terms of putting the contact out there, putting the feelers out there, discussing things like, any terms and wages, and would this player be available? Would they be interested in coming? So they are putting the work in, but there's different level targets, and a lot of it depends on if we're going to get European football. Champions League is gone, but Europa obviously. I mean, I say Champions League is gone; it's not mathematically gone. Europa League is doable, even though a lot of people have written that off as well. But the fact is, it is still doable. So yeah, we've got to wait, unfortunately, with that one. And patience and waiting is really the topic of this podcast. I'm afraid at the moment, but yeah, I think it's obvious. Really, it doesn't even need me to say it that we're going to have to wait because players they're going to wait and see who Chelsea put in as their next manager. I mean, if for example it's a Marco Silva, it's not going to be. I'm pretty sure about that. But if it was, then we're not going to be attracting the same players as an Alonso would, for example. Even an Iraola, I don't think he would attract the same level players that Alonso would just from his name. I think that's just obvious. I think that goes without saying. So, yeah, it's another reason why we really need a high caliber manager name to come in, someone like Alonso. I just think it's yeah, it's needed in so many ways, so many reasons, and that is one of the biggest ones in terms of which players we can attract for the summer, which players will come in. So yeah, hopefully, you know, hopefully we can get Alonso, and that will help. And speaking of Alonso, so I said I had a few little updates. Unfortunately, this time the updates are very little, but I will always say, what I'm hearing or what I'm talking about with other sources. And basically, I've had a few sources come to me in the last couple of days and basically just asking me, because they know that I speak to lots of sources. So they've been asking me, are you hearing the same that we're hearing on Alonso? And I'm just like, well, what's that? And they're saying that it's really positive and it's looking really good at the moment. And there's no specifics on what they're telling me, but they're wanting me to see if I've heard the same from other sources, and I have. Like, that's basically exactly the same. Probably from 3 or 4 sources are all saying the same thing. That and the fact that I've had these other people coming to me and asking me to check up on it and saying that this is what we've heard on Alonso and Chelsea, and it's definitely there's definitely optimism. And I know I have to follow that up with, we've heard this all before. We've heard optimism on the Elise story. We've heard it on so many other stories and transfer rumors. So yeah, just bear that in mind. I'm not saying that it's advancing or it's done or it's getting close. None of that yet, but it's very positive. So they've had the talks. So Alonso and Chelsea have spoken. It has been a good start, and what I believe now is happening is that Chelsea are giving Alonso some space and some time to have a think about everything they've discussed and to have a think about whether he wants to take the role. But he's, from what I've got from those conversations, is that he has very much left them feeling that it can be done, and that they can agree on everything that needs agreeing before he signs on the dotted line. So I believe that Chelsea are feeling quite confident after these talks that Alonso will come. But there's still a long way to go because there is the Liverpool situation. I know that Arne Slot has come out today and basically said, let me get his wording up, because yeah, this to me, from my experience in doing this, I always get a little bit skeptical when I see wording like this. So Arne Slot said this morning, I have every reason to believe I will be the Liverpool manager next season. The plans for next season have been made. Talks are ongoing between the club and new players, and I'm involved in that. So from that, you'd initially read that and you think, great, he's staying. That's fantastic news for Chelsea. It means that Liverpool won't be coming in for Alonso and we get a free run at him. And if it stays like that, then that's even better news. That's brilliant. Like that, we need that to happen. At the moment, as far as I'm aware, the only offer or solid offer that Alonso's got on the table is from Chelsea. If he had an offer from Liverpool, I'm pretty much sure that he would go there. Obviously, it would be like Lampard choosing Chelsea over Liverpool, or I say Lampard because he's a manager, but someone like John Terry, a proper clubman, is always going to pick the club that he played for and that he loved and that he was a legend at over any other club. So it's natural. But yeah, reading between the lines of those comments from Slot, you've seen what I'm saying is you've seen these types of comments from managers before, and then a week later, 2 days later, they get sacked. I'm not saying that's going to happen with Slot, and all I can do is laugh. You can see me smiling, people watching the video, because I've seen these stories play out, and that is why personally I'm holding myself well back on the Alonso stuff. I know that I've just given you positive news, and that is the situation. It is positive, but it's not done. It's nowhere near done. That's the bottom line. So again, I will encourage everyone to just not get too excited about this yet. I know it's hard because we all want Alonso, I think that's unanimous from the fan base. And it would be a huge, huge appointment if we get him. I'm not saying, I wrote an article this week, I'm not saying it's going to change everything like that at the club, because it's not, but it will be a good start. And I think Alonso coming in, I've heard that Chelsea will give him more control, much more of a say than other managers have had, and they will listen to him a lot more. And hopefully he can help implement some changes that need changing if we can get him in. But yeah, I mean, the influence he could have, I mean, it's obvious, isn't it? He's a football guy. He was a superb football player. He's proven to be mostly a very good manager. I know some people debate what happened at Real Madrid, but it's clear to see that club's a mess. Players fighting and stuff, and similar to Chelsea, I guess, but on a much worse scale. So yeah, I mean, you could see that a lot of that at Real Madrid wasn't his fault or anything that he could have done. So yeah, I think overall he's proven to be a good manager. He's experienced. He's a football guy. He's got football knowledge. He's intelligent. And you know, if you're going to put a bunch of people in the room to make decisions about Chelsea Football Club, and you put Alonso in that room, he's immediately going to be the guy that you have to pay most attention to. You just have to, because our owners are not experienced in football. The sporting directors are, to an extent, but none of them have been a top-level director making decisions at a top-level football club like Chelsea. So in that sense, they're not experienced, whereas Alonso is the football guy. He's the one who was a good player. He was the one who had a great career. He's the one who's been a good manager. So he's the one you have to listen to. Simple as that. And I think they will. And I'm going to stop talking about Alonso now, because I myself don't want to get carried away by him hopefully coming in this summer. Bottom line, long way to go. Very positive talks, optimistic. The fact that I had all these sources coming to me saying the same thing this week definitely confirms to me that these talks happened, for one, and these talks were very good, for two. I believe now that they're giving him some space, some time to think about it. And I'd imagine they'll go back for another round of talks. It's not going to be a quick thing. I said this in an article this week. We have to be patient now. There's not going to be updates like, this is the best I can give you in terms of updates right now. We're not going to get them. I think earliest they might come is after the Tottenham game next week. Focus all on the cup final now. And yeah, there's not going to be updates. There's not going to be that you will see other bits and pieces flying around, like Chelsea still talking to Areola, Chelsea still interested in Silva and Luis and Fabregas, and you will see all of that. Liverpool still might sack Slot. You're going to see all of that stuff. So just be prepared for it. Chelsea have not. Obviously, Chelsea are going to keep communication open with other managers that they like, because they have to. It's sensible. It's real. Alonso could say no, then they have to move to someone else. So they have to do that. Areola and Alonso have the same agent, so it's easy for Chelsea to talk to them about both managers, which they've been doing. So that's where we're at with the manager situation. End of season, before the World Cup, is when Chelsea want to announce the new manager. But I think we might hear, or hopefully we'll hear something a little bit more conclusive after the Tottenham game, in terms of Alonso stuff anyway. So yeah, those are the updates. Now, as I said, focus is all on the FA Cup final this weekend, this Saturday, Chelsea and Man City. I have done an article on this today, so if you want to head to the homepage, that will be on there by the time you're listening to this. And I've been putting out articles every day this week, as previewing for the final. Yeah, I absolutely love the FA Cup. I think you're all aware of that by now. I think it's a competition that I find really magical. The town that I live in is very small. We have a small football club, and I don't know what tier they are, maybe 10, maybe even lower than that. I don't know. In the football pyramid. I need to find that out. Sorry, I'll check that. And yeah, they get probably average crowd of 500, maybe more. I think they had a thousand at a few of the games this season because they got promoted again. And it's a great atmosphere there, by the way. I do go there when I can. They've got a great clubhouse, and the fans are all singing and chanting, and they've got the Froome Town. Froome Town is the football club. They've got their ultras, their own version of the ultras there, and it's great. Um, but yeah, what I'm saying is they enter the FA Cup at the preliminary rounds, and they get a chance to eventually, if they manage to somehow get that far, play against some of the big teams. I think there was Polton Rovers, which is another one of my local teams. They got quite far. They got to the third round, maybe about 5 years ago, maybe a bit more, maybe 10 years ago. I don't know. Time goes so quick. I think they played Norwich City off the top of my head. So yeah, that was huge for that town. And yeah, that's the magic of the FA Cup that I love. So it's a competition that I would love to win. I don't understand the whole Chelsea fans saying they don't want to win it because it's just going to paper over cracks. I have concerns about that as well. I do think it might paper over cracks, and they probably would start boasting about it one way or another. But I don't care. Obviously, I care if it papered over cracks and then we didn't, and they decided not to make the changes that they're looking to make. Then I would care. But my priority is winning the FA Cup. As a Chelsea fan, I want to win a trophy. Of course I do. And I can't think any other way. I understand why some people might think that way, but not me. I just couldn't do it. So yeah, big game. Man City beat us 3-0 4 weeks ago, I think, around about then. It was the game that I was supposed to go to with my old man. We watched it in the pub. And yeah, second half they destroyed us. They had much more possession, more shots on goal, more attempts. So we know what Man City can do. We know the players they have. They have so much quality. They have an insane attack and goal threat. And that against our defense is a recipe for disaster. So yeah, it's I don't have any expectations to win. Can we win? Yes, of course we can. That first half against Man City, we actually got quite close to scoring. And if we on another day, if we'd have scored one or two, we had some really good chances to get those goals. It could have been a different story. So Man City are beatable. Man City can concede goals quite easily if you set up well and set up right against them. Personally, I would counter-attack them. I don't know what Callum McFarlane is going to do, but that's what I would do because we can score on the counter. We've got some good players for counter. We've got players that can turn it around in transition very quick. We've got fast players. We've got players with good vision, Cole Palmer and Enzo Fernandez, who can find that pass. So, they are definitely beatable. It's not, we're not going into this game thinking we've lost already. Well, we shouldn't be thinking that. So it's not, I don't, like I said, I don't have much belief that we will win the game, but we can win the game is what I'm saying. So we just got to hope. It's a cup game. It's one game away from winning a trophy. That should be in the players' minds. There's going to be no concerns about any of them down in tools or checking out for the season, ready for the World Cup, because believe me, they all want to win medals. That's what they're in the game for. So it's going to be for them rather than anything else or the manager that they don't want to fight for. It's going to be for them, and they're going to go all out for it to try and win it. And if they put in as much intensity as City do, then they've got every chance of coming away with a trophy, which would be amazing. Obviously, as I said at the start of this show, winning the FA Cup. Imagine that after the season we've just had, after the run of form we've just had, how toxic it's been, protests, and there's more protests ahead of the final tomorrow. the pure hatred for the ownership and everything that they've been doing to our club, and fans like myself completely losing the connection we have with the players and the club. All of that. Imagine if we then go and win the FA Cup on Saturday. It would just be very Chelsea, wouldn't it? I think everyone would agree with that. Yeah, madness if we actually manage to do it. But all we've got to do is believe. And anyone going to the game, obviously enjoy yourselves, have a good time. I'm very jealous. Wembley would be great, I think, that day. But yeah, I think, like I said, I end this podcast now and tell any players who might be watching. I think rarely or occasionally I have clocked that one or two of them have viewed a couple of podcasts and a couple of articles. So you never know. If any players are watching, just go back and watch the 97 FA Cup final for a start, and then every other FA Cup final, or, just final that we've won. Champions League final, for example, 2012. Go watch that against all the odds. Nobody expected us to win that. We had Ryan Bertrand playing as a left winger, and we still won. Go and watch that, and just go and watch the heart, the passion, the desire, the belief that the players all play with, and channel that. Take it into Saturday, and just go as a one-off. Forget everything else that's happened this season. Forget anything else that's going to happen in the next, 3 or 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and just go for it. Go all out. Anyway, I'll leave you there, guys. Enjoy the cup final. As always, win, lose or draw, up the Chels, and I'll see you all soon.